What's up, team? Tackle. Welcome to Trade Masters. This is Coach Tyler, your rating champ. Just a bit arrogant tonight, sitting on the throne. But I'm probably going to get off tonight. We'll see. I think Greg's coming at me. So I got Coach Greg, my buddy from up north, chatting with me tonight. Playing the game, Greg. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm still reeling from my absolute beatdown that I got from Mr. Tom Lau a couple of weeks ago. So I'm licking some wounds here. I'm like a wounded animal here. Things might get rough.
Well, bring it on. Tom was a delight. Loved having him on.
It was great.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah.
Yep. So couldn't have been beaten by a better man, right?
That's right.
Beaten by a better man. But let's bring everybody up to speed. If this is the first time watching us on Trade Masters, this is a game, a little competition where we pitch three trade ideas apiece. There'll be 3 rounds. First round we call the Delta round. I will pitch a directional trade. Greg will pitch a directional trade, and then you vote which one you liked best. Round 2 will be a cash flow focused round where we pitch a cash flow trade, where we're going to sell options in some capacity. Best of those 2 picks wins that round, and then round 3 is a wild card round where anything goes. Best of 3 wins the night, comes back the next week to play again. Loser goes home with his tail tucked between his legs. Greg and I have both lost many a time. So it's kind of lost its sting a little bit, Greg, but I always like to win. So I know Greg's going to be bringing it. I'm going to be bringing it. And we have 2 more things. Number 1, Discord. Team Tackle Trading has a Discord channel. If you want to go in there, there is a Trade Masters Hangout where you can go and chit chat with the team while you explore our trade ideas. And then the second thing, super special announcement tonight, there is the Tackle 25 launch party. We have a new list of picks for the year. So Matt will be at the helm for that here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll make another announcement at the end, but that's on the docket tonight. Should be super exciting. Greg, did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think, isn't Matt going to be hanging out a little bit early too? Like I know it starts, the launch party starts at 8:30, but I think Matt's going to be in there early, like 8 o'clock or so. So anybody who's available, hop in there. And the other part to that is, if you need the link, it should be in Discord as well. So if you haven't got it as a pro member, head on over to Discord and that should take care of you.
There you go. Thank you, Greg. I'm going to defer to Greg. Delta around here, Greg. I'll be your hands as always. What you got for me tonight?
All right, sir. I'm in a lot of healthcare space tonight, buddy. Let's start with the Abbott Laboratories for starters. All right, Abbott Laboratories. I don't think there's anything I don't like about this chart. It had its massive beatdown. We've talked about this one before. Really strong beat down there. Reversal characteristics. You could draw a trend line from that 200 back in May all the way down to where we are now. It's broken that. It's broken all the moving averages. It's taken a couple of small pullbacks here. It's found support at the 20, fired off a couple of times. Found that resistance level you've got drawn in red there, about that 112, 113 area there. And it's threatening again, which I like. This is also a fundamental, pretty rock solid stock as well. So that's always in my wheelhouse. But this is just a technical play here. You're looking for a breakout here. We've tested this 113 level, 1, 2, 3. This will be the 4th time. Each time you test a technical level, it gets weaker and weaker most of the time. You've got some moving averages like the 9 and the 20 and the 200 all coiled together there. The 50 is a little further away than I would normally like it. Maybe you get a day or 2 more of some sideways chop, let it catch up. I'd be fine either way. What I'm looking for here is a very simple breakout trade. I'm looking for a breakout above 113. If you look at the last resistance, it's in the 118 neighborhood there. Yep, right about there. And I think that's just T1 for me. The ultimate T1 would be back to that 123, 124 level there, where that old 200 was. That's really where I think this can shine to ultimately. But I'm looking for a very, very quick trade in this. You know, I don't think, you know, typically when I'm looking at a directional play here, a couple other things here. The IV rank on this is kind of medium, if I remember correctly. It's not low, but it's not high either. There's lots of room for it to go. So in that particular case, I want to be buying options, not selling options. So for me, this was just very simple. I don't want to cloud anything. I looked at the February 3rd. We can go to the trade tab there, sir. So just 30 days out. I don't think it's going to take very long to get to that 118 target. And that's what I'm after right now. I'm not concerned about the further target. If we get to 118 and this thing continues, that is where I would roll this strategy that I'm about to do. I'm only concerned about getting to T1 at this point. So for me, I like the February 3rd, 2023 bull call. So the 113, I'm going a little bit out of the money here. 113 because that's our breakout point, and I'm going right to where my target is of 118. So you're looking at a $1.47 debit there for a $5 wide spread here. So you've got a really, really attractive risk reward here. I believe it's 2-1 if my math is correct. 147 to 1. It's a little just slightly better than that. And again, just a very simple technical trade. Obviously, you only put this trade on after breaks 113, so your debit might be a little bit more than that. I'm okay with that, right? You're still at a 111 now. However, the ATR on this is $2, so it could literally break out tomorrow. It has that ability. So again, very simple. You know, no muss, no fuss here. Just keeping things simple. Little breakout trade on ABT. That's my delta play, my friend.
Well played, Greg. I wanted to look at this on the weekly chart. I suspect it also looks quite delightful there too, right?
It certainly does.
Cleans it up a little bit. I like the read. Got clobbered through most of last year, made the turn in November, December, and more compelling on the weekly too, because you're taking out the 50 weekly. So lines up very nice on multiple time frames for sure.
Yeah, you do have earnings down there. When's that? I checked earnings on Earnings Whisper. I thought it was
Jan 23rd.
Yeah, Jan 25th. So, or yeah,
25th. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. Yep.
yeah, Jan 25th. Our expiration is February 3rd. I wouldn't keep this trade past January 25th. I personally don't think it's going to take that long to get to. You know, you're talking, you're basically talking less than 2 ATRs, sorry, slightly more than 2 ATRs to get to that 118 target. If you get to the 118, just managing this trade, if I got to the 118, because it's such short time, I would close that because theta is working against you. So just gets to 118, take your money and run.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, 3 weeks is probably enough. And it's sitting right there. So like it. Well done. And the bull call spread with the cost structure, you and I are always simpatico on those. I think it's well structured too. So I guess my only quibble would be whether we go with the Fed monthly that's got a little bit more liquidity than the weekly option. That'd be maybe the only thing, but everything else I love.
Yeah, the volume and open interest on the weeklies, I believe I checked it. I thought it was pretty solid. You know, this thing trades enough that I don't think you run into too many issues there.
Yep.
And the other part of that was the monthlies. Actually, I think the strikes were different, if I remember.
Yeah,
I think I had to go weekly because I wanted the specific strikes here. I didn't want to get caught at, I think it's $5 wide strikes.
So you did 115, 120. I actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That is like the one hard thing to get around, right? Like that's what pushes me into the weeklies as well. It's like, listen, bro, you want me to trade monthlies? Give me the dollar wide strikes. Otherwise, you're forcing me to the weeklies to build the structure I want, which is one of the perks of the weeklies, right? You got greater strike selection. So that is a good point. Good point. Okay, Abbott Laboratories, little bull call spread action. I am feeling the good vibes on bull calls here, Gregory, and I'm going to go with a bull call as well.
Nice.
I'm going to pick a stock that I think you know, Greg. How about Walmart? How about
Welcome,
Walmart?
welcome to the dark side, my friend.
I know Greg likes Walmart. Listen, what I liked about this the most, Greg, was the weekly chart. You're going to see some similarities between both of these from a multiple timeframes perspective. If you take a look at the weekly time frame, let's start there. Yep, that's weekly. Okay, so first of all, this trounced the S&P 500 last year. S&P was down like 20% ish. This was essentially flat. Well done, Walmart. Look at the trend though. Look at the trend off the lows. I really like the uptrend going in Walmart. I like the momentum. I'm gonna forget that upper trend line there. I like the momentum of the last advance, Greg. I like the launch here. I mean, this thing in one swing goes from 128 to 155. Well done, Walmart. And then pulled back. This is a nice little weekly bull retracement pattern coming into kind of some old resistance zones, becoming new support. It's between the 9 and the 20 weekly, which is a bull area. It's where you saw it bounce last time. I like the slowing momentum of the candles. Big bar, small bar, small bar, small bar. I like the formation. We're only 2 days, 3 days, 2 days into the week, 2 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, market was closed on Monday. But nice little weekly candle shaping up here, Greg. I like it.
Yep.
And it's close to the trigger point if you're trading this off of the weekly. Remember, triggers a prior bar's high. So if you're trading this weekly pattern, you're essentially looking for a break above last week's high to change the trajectory. We've had 4 straight weeks of lower highs and lower lows, trying to change that today or this week. Also noticing a tweezer bottom here, Gregory. Got to go deep in the Steve Nissen candlestick book for that. tweezer bottom. Held the lows from last week. So dig in the weekly. Now, as is virtually always the case, you get a weekly retracement, you're going to see some damage on the daily chart. You don't get a 4-week pullback without getting a little bit of damage on the daily trend. And sure enough, you will see a deeper pullback on the daily, which some would say, oh no, broke the 50. I would say initially fair point, but I don't know that Walmart really cares about the 50. I got to be honest. You know, moving averages get a lot of respect with some stocks. They get no respect with other stocks. I look at Walmart and I'm like, I'm not sure I even care much about the 50. Not because I don't like the 50. It's not me. It's Walmart. Walmart doesn't seem to play well with the 50. I don't mind that it pulled back a little deeper. I'm more so like this as the weekly play, and I'm going to forgive the break of the 50-day. I do like the slowing momentum on the daily chart. You can see kind of this bottoming action here. And I like yesterday's candlestick, Greg. I like today's candlestick. This was weak and closed strong. So you could be able to map out a couple different potential triggers here. If you go off of last week's high, it's this horizontal red bar here about 144 and change. Ultimately, the bet here is that it's going to break back through the 20 and the 50. And I want to buy a 145 call, slightly out of the money. And I want to sell the 150. I think 150 is a good target. I think it's a fair target. I don't think it's overly ambitious. And I can set up a nice little $5 wide bull call here for about $2. So we're going to buy the Feb monthly. I'm going to buy the 145 call, sell the 150. It's going to cost me around $2. It means I can make $3. So 150% potential return. You would juice the return versus risk even more if you put a stop loss below the low here. But let's just build this out, Greg. I think you got the idea. But going out 44 days, buying the 145, selling the 150. Bada bing, bada boom. There's your $2. Risking 2 to make 3. Yeah, pretty simple trade for me. There you go.
Yeah, so everybody knows I'm a big fan of Walmart, fundamentally speaking. I do like the weekly chart here. There is a fair bit of garbage here with Walmart. You know, you've got I think that's your 20 there rolling over and your 50 there. There is that. The funny thing about Walmart is, and you said it, is it really, the moving averages don't mean quite as much with this particular entity as it does with all of them. Also, I would say that when things are falling, you know, and I mean, when you're in an overall downtrend as opposed to a retracement, I would put a little bit more weight behind that 50 as well.
Mhm.
So instead of like this thing's been running up since October and then it's just rolled over to support. If this thing had been falling since October and it was in a downtrend and reversing and it came down to the 50, then I give it just, and I don't want to say a lot, but just a slight more lean to the 50. So I'm okay with that as well. Yeah, I don't mind the trade. Like I said, I would prefer a little bit less chaos here. But at the end of the day, it's Walmart, man. It does what it wants to do. It's shown some pretty good strength recently, like October to the end of the year there, or October to at least end of November there, showed a lot of strength. And we had a lot of turmoil in the markets, generally speaking, in that period of time there. So the fact that it held up well, I think bodes well as well. So yeah, I don't mind the bull call trade. Again, the only thing I would say that's good about this as well is, you've got those extra days. The bull call I did was a little bit shorter term because there's really nothing, there's no barriers for mine. You've got the extra days just in case these do happen to turn into barriers, which is fine. So that gives you a little bit more time. So no issue with the way you've set it up. Again, big fan of Walmart. So
well said.
yeah.
Okay. Tan, let's throw up the YouTube poll here. You got Abbott Laboratories, ABT for Greg, the old Walmart for myself. You guys vote. Which one do you like better? Let us know while you're voting. Greg, kick it off. Round 2, cash flow. What you got?
All right, I had to juggle a couple here. I think I'm just going to stay in this space. Can you pull up Target for me, my friend? So Target, unlike Walmart here, very neutral, kind of a neutral space here, coming off the lows there. Yeah, making a bottoming pattern here. I've used this successfully. Anybody who happens to be in my lab on Monday nights knows we've used this successfully for a while now as a cash flow trade. And the reason we do that is because it just works. Okay. I really like the way Target's setting up here. Really solid bounce off that 140 level, pushed up above the moving averages. It, much like Walmart, has that 50 bearing down on it. Now, if you look at the 50 there, though, the 50 is almost flat here. Okay. Any more upward trajectory here, and that's probably going to start to turn its way back up. So I'm also happy to have that. That's what this sideways chop will do for you. So very happy here. Just got the crossover of your 9 and your 20. I believe that happened today or yesterday. So I'm very happy with that scenario as well. Little golden cross there, little mini one, little baby one. So I like this here. However, with that 50 above there, I don't think that this is the best play for a delta play. I think you might get up to that 50 and start to do some sideways dance, which is what it's been doing for a while. If that's the case, why would I want to go on a delta play here? I really don't want to. What I'd rather do is bet that whatever happens, whether it hits the 50 and goes through, great. If it hits the 50, chim sideways, great. If it hits the 50 and comes back down to this 140 level, which as far as I'm concerned, in the last 6 months has been definitely a key level. Okay. I'm betting that key level holds. Okay. And I'm willing to bet, that if it breaks, I can manage to get out of the trade without too much damage, even if I'm 100% wrong on it, which I feel pretty good about it. So for me, this is just your bull put spread, your garden variety. Again, trying to keep everything simple. Don't want to get in the weeds here, but I really like the bull put spread here. I believe I went out to February 3rd, if I remember correctly. 30 days. Let's go to the 140. Yep. And buy the 137. So just $3 wide, and you're getting about a 47-cent credit there. I don't think you'll get 47. It's pretty wide here. I'd probably throw this in at 45, but I'm super happy to get 45 cents out of $3 wide spread, which looks like about 15%. So this is perfectly in our wheelhouse for a credit spread. And your risk is low. You're right at that key level of support. You've got a couple of technical factors that are actually little bit bullish right now. You've only got that one that is concerning, which is the 50. But again, I'm not asking this to go to the moon. I'm just asking it to keep doing what it was doing since May of this year. If it keeps doing what it's doing since May of this year, you collect the credit, you're a happy camper. So that's my theta play. Again, I'm very simple with all this kind of stuff because that's what the market's giving us. I don't need to get fancy here. Just give me a key level of support. I'll throw on a credit spread and I'll be happy I did.
Yeah, I like this. I like this for a couple of reasons. I think you did really well in explaining why a bull put is appropriate, why this is a cash flow candidate versus directional. The moving averages, is particularly the 50 in this case, right? They just lose their significance. Kind of like Walmart. I mean, you see this slicing through the 50 multiple times. Yeah. So your explanation of that was sound. The other thing that I like about this, where I would not have been on board with a bull put myself 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. What I like about it, Greg, is you're almost at a point on this rally where those that were hoping for this to be a bear retracement, like their hopes have been dashed, because it shouldn't have gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row if bears were going to pounce and this be just a weak sauce bounce that rolls. I like yesterday's candle, and I really like today's candle, essentially slapping bears upside the head this morning and being like, listen, not so fast. We're buying the dip. We're buying the down gap. I think that suggests that the rally has staying power, which should support your bull put.
Yep.
So well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. Okay, Greg. Listen, I got 2 cash flow plays for my last 2 picks. I'm trying to figure out which one, which one's wild card, which one's not. I think I'm going to go with a naked put. Naked put for round 2 here. So, have you seen? Let me tee it up this way. Let's take a look at the old watch list here, Gregory. Let me teach you something, right? Listen, Greg, you want to know who's moving? You go to your stock list, you go to your ETF list, you get percent change as a column heading, you click on it, bada bing, bada boom, you get to see I almost said alphabetical. You get to see in order of performance, who did best, who did worst. FXI, sneaky, China up 6.4%. They're like this recovery in China and emerging markets that began in November, really picking up steam today. So you saw all sorts of Chinese related names going ham here. And one of the areas that has been helping, the idea of reopening in China, them easing COVID restriction policies and such, one of the areas that's been helping is commodity plays, right? Like copper, kind of like steel, and this is one that I know Cash Flow Vikings and Coach Mark have been on. Vail, this is an iron ore stock, and I like it for a couple of reasons. I like it because it's cheap, which lends itself to naked puts. I like it because it was winking at me earlier today, Greg, and it said, "Hey, buddy, who's got a 3-bar pullback with a hammer forming?" And I'm like, you do, Mr. Vail, you do. And as soon as I said that hammer, when this thing was like down on the day, started going and by the end, I mean, here's the 5-minute chart, right? Like, so right around here, this sucker's like, yep, got this nice little 3-4 bar pullback, come and get me. And then it just, jumps into the close. So really strong close there. As far as like buy the dip candidates go, it could have been better on the momentum of the last advance, right? Like you could say, I'm going to dock this, not going to give it high marks because it had a little bit of slowing momentum. But for heaven's sakes, I'm not buying a call option, right? I'm lobbing it out of the money. Put a little slowing win is fine. I just like the nature of the pullback here, Greg, and the bullish reversal bar today with the volume surge to boot. So I'm looking at out of the money puts. Team Phoenix we sold the 14 strike, but the sucker kept going up. So I think I'm gonna have to raise the strike. Let's say I could do 14 though, because I think I still can. Going out to Feb monthly. That's pretty far away, Greg. You know that's far away, right? It's not that. We're not asking much. The whole thing would have to completely unravel for this to get down to 14. even if I go to the 15 strike, you still got a pretty good distance. And the volatility is high enough with Vail to where there's some decent premium in the out of the money puts, right? Justly so. I mean, quite honestly, Greg, this thing just ran from 12.5 to 17. It's not a small move. It's a pretty big move. So you should have some decent juice in the options. So let's take a look. See here. I'm going to go to the trade tab. I'm going to the monthly, and I might go 30-day 15. I'm going to give, forgive me, Greg. I'm throwing out two options here. I like the Feb 14. I got over 20 cents on this earlier today. If it dips at all tomorrow, you can probably still get 20 cents. It doesn't sound like a lot, but listen, it only costs you 140 bucks. So it doesn't, ignore the dollar amount. It's an ROI play, right? It's return on investment. It's not the absolute dollar amount. You make 20 bucks on 140. I don't know, it's 15% return or so. And I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of impressive to me that I can go down to 14. I can get like a 15% return. In fairness, there is an earnings announcement between now and Feb monthly expiration. I don't really mind, as I look back at the prior earnings announcements, I don't even mind holding this through earnings because of the distance out of the money, but you've got the option to exit ahead of time if you need to. I just like how this sets up as a naked put, and I thought today was a good day to highlight it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this one I'm a bit hesitant on, just because of the way it did pull back. It did make a higher low if this hammer candle does happen to be the new pivot, which is good. I would have liked to have seen it held a couple of those moving averages, like the 20 or the 9. Like, and just a little flag pattern to one of those would have been more attractive to me. Yeah, everything you're saying is right. Good volume on this hammer candle today, but I think that was indicative of the markets in general. The Fed minutes came out today. Nobody seemed to care. The bulls had a pretty decent day. China, obviously, you know what? They're getting some good news. So the copper stocks are doing well. Like you said, steel's doing well. All that kind of stuff's doing well. There's been a bit of an air pocket in demand for a while because of them being shut down. So this should help. I don't really have a problem with the trade. I really like the fact that it's really far away. I guess 20 bucks for me isn't really enough, but that's just who I am. I actually like this play here of actually doing the 15 instead. And the reason being is because you've got the support of the 20 of the 50 and the 200 there. And frankly, if it broke those two, I really don't want to be in this game anyway. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit there and wait for it to fall down to 14. Unless, of course, you were going to pick some of this up at 14, then that's a different conversation. But if you're just going for cash flow here, what was the number on the 15s there, Ty? Because I thought the number was, yeah. So you're doubling up on that for an extra dollar, right? Yeah. So if you could run that way, I think I'd be pretty excited to go with the 15 there. Yeah, I like the analysis. Like you said, the deepness of the pullback. I would have preferred to see a flag there, but you know what? The market doesn't care what I prefer. So yeah, no argument here. The fact is too, and I guess this is one of the bonuses, it's a pretty cheap stock. You know what I mean? You're not going to get yourself in too much trouble usually with a $14, $15 stock. So
yeah. No, listen, I concur. Good added insight there, Greg.
Yeah.
All right, let's rock tan. Throw up the poll for round 2. So you got Target. I got Vail on the mind.
Target, man.
Target with the lovely trading range, bull put below support. Or you got Vail with the bull retracement out of the money naked put. Yeah, I like both of those, Greg. I like both of those. You know, what I like about Target too is that's not normally a chart that would tempt me to do anything, right?
Yeah.
But because of your fundamental take and the double bottom and the bull put, you start to see how a veteran trader can be creative in the way they structure a trade. As long as you got a bias, you can usually find a way to capitalize on it. So I like that as an example of those principles.
Yeah, the other part that I like about that, and I said this when I was running it over, is literally in my trading lab, we've done this. I think we did this 2, maybe 3 times already in late 2022 there. and collected full boat on all of it. So it's given us a track record of when it does hit these key levels, it does what it's supposed to do. And really, when you can find something that acts the way you think it's going to act, why not go back to that well time and time again, right? So that's what makes it attractive to me. So
I agree. Let's get wild, man.
All right.
What you got?
All right. So remember how I said the other two were pretty basic, pretty milk toast, bargain variety, breakout and retracement. This one's a little different animal. Can you pull up AbbVie for me, please? All right, going a little different with this one. So just technically speaking, I don't think you can argue that this thing is bullish. It looks pretty great to me. If we go to a weekly chart, it looks even, as fantastic, if not better. Well above the 9 there, 9 weekly, little high base there. Got room to run up to that 176 neighborhood there. Everything looks really good. This thing's been strong for so long. There's been others in the similar space that haven't showed near the strength that this has. So I like it for that reason. Now, if we go back to the daily chart, thank you, sir. Couple of things that I think can happen here. I think it can break out here. I think it can get to T1, which T1 is going to be in the neighborhood of about what did I get there? 170, right? No, just down a little bit, down to where those candles are, 167, let's say 168. So I think it gets there very, very easily. But I also believe that potentially you can get back to that higher target, which would be that old high back in April of 176 there. So I wanted to structure something that gets me both things if I can. Okay. And so the way that I looked at this here was, right now, this has had a really great run. It's running sideways. I don't know. Nobody knows for certain. I believe that this thing's going to continue to run up. I believe that it has enough juice that it could get all the way back up to that old high. But if it doesn't, I want to make sure that I've structured something that gives me an opportunity to cash a trade, whether it goes up a little, sideways, up a lot. As long as it doesn't get absolutely cratered to the downside, I want to make sure that I get something out of this trade. So what I did here was, if we go to the trade tab there, I'm going a very short term. I'm going 16 days to January 20th. Okay, so the Jan monthlies. Okay, I am doing a put butterfly. Okay, it's a broken wing butterfly. I'm doing the 167.50. I'm selling 2 of those. Okay, I'm buying the 160 and I'm buying the 170. So this is a broken wing butterfly and it's a credit. Okay, so this is a little bit different. Typically, when I've been doing my butterflies on Trade Masters here, I've always gone the debit route. The reason I'm going with the credit route now is because if this goes sideways, I already want to be in the good. Okay, I don't want to sit there and have theta working against me. I'd rather have it working for me. Okay, now if a butterfly moves in the right direction, your theta comes on anyway. But in this particular case, I really like the way the credit sets up here, because if nothing happens, if it just kind of stays where it is, I'm going to collect some money off this. Okay, and that's what I want. So $1.97 credit there. I don't know that you're going to get the full 197 there. You might only get $1.80, whatever it is. You're still going to do well, right? So, even $1.90 you could put it in for. All right. But if we look at this thing here, it looks just like a broken wing butterfly. But the difference is, you can see where this purple line is, right? The price right now is at, was it 160, right about where we are right now. Okay, so as long as it stays in this general direction here, okay, that purple line is going to head towards that blue line, and we're going to collect that theta. Okay, so I really like how this is setting up. Now, the problem with a broken wing butterfly that has a credit attached to it is, on the downside, if we just let this go, the downside looks kind of ugly. What's the max loss on that there, Ty? 310. Okay. I am not willing to sit through the loss of 310 to get $1.90. I'm just not willing to do it, even if I have a good quality, percentage of profitability. Okay. Here, this has to do one of two things. It has to sit there, it has to move up a little, or it has to move up a lot. If it starts to go down, I don't want to be involved in this. So looking at the chart, I've decided that my tap out point for this is below that right there. I chose 159. So I want to be below that level of support there. If this hits 159, I'm out, Jerry. I'm done. Okay. So if we can go back to the analyze tab just quickly there, 159, I'm spending $1.25, let's say. On the upside, I can get 400, somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 if it happens to peak out at 167.50, which is exactly where that first target is on the chart. And then if it goes to the moon, I still get to collect. What do I get to collect if it goes to the moon? It's over $1 something. You got that there, Ty? Right there, yeah. So I'm still collecting $1.90, right? So I'm still collecting $1.90 if it goes to the moon. If it goes down to 159, I lose $1.25. And if I somehow get lucky and it gets to that 167.50, then if you go back to the chart there, Ty, you'll see exactly that's where that first level of support, of resistance is, right at the 167.50. So I built myself a trade here. Sideways is good, up a little bit's good, up a lot is good, down a little, and I'm out of the trade and I'm done and move on to the next one.
Yes, Gregory, well done. A good example, again, of building a strategy, creating a risk profile that matches your directional bias, right? That's what you do as an options trader. You say, this is where I think the stock's going to go. What option trade will make me a lot of money if my forecast comes to fruition? So I dig it. And I don't think I have much to add. I listen, I think that the risk graph matches precisely what you think is going to happen. You got a stop out point. It's a well-structured trade. I like it.
Thank you, sir.
Listen, it's neck and neck. All right.
See, people like Walmart and Target. That's what I found out tonight. People like Walmart and Target.
That's right. That's right. I had a quick question here from Yvonne on the options here, Greg. I don't know if it happens by default that the weeklies are yellow. If I'm answering if I'm understanding the question correctly. I believe on mine, Greg, I could just click on here and go expiration types. And when I show the weeklies, I mean, I can uncheck it, but when I show the weeklies, I'm pretty sure by default, they say weeklies on there. I think that's a thinkorswim option chain feature.
That's how mine looks always.
Yeah. So Yvonne, if you're using a different broker, maybe they just don't have the ability to display the different months differently, which I have found, Greg, is quite annoying. If you're trying to build trades, not remembering which one's monthly, which one's weekly can be a little bit annoying. But you can just look at the calendar, Yvonne. You always know the third Friday. The third Friday is the monthly by default. So, okay, let's see if I can redeem myself here, Greg. You went with little AbbVie. I'm gonna go with Microsoft. We talked about Microsoft in the halftime report, and I want to build something bearish on Microsoft, and I feel icky. I just feel icky saying it, Greg. It doesn't feel very good, but you know what? I think the chart justifies it. And I'm going to set this up where I got a pretty high probability. Okay. So the technical case. Well, first of all, do you see that support break today? That's not good. It's not good. This had key support at 235. Basically, what today does is it invalidates everything that just happened over the last 2 months. Right? Like, remember that whole nice up gap in Microsoft in November, and then it like trended higher, and then it reversed, and now we're like, it's all over. Okay, it's all over. And this actually kind of reminds me of a technical analysis pattern known as a island reversal, where you gap up into the island, and then you party on the island, and then you gap out or gap down to leave the island. And it's as if everybody who bought up here is stranded, okay? You suckers partied too hard. You had a hangover. You woke up. The cruise ship was gone. You've been left. You've all been left. And what that means is they're all dying to get on the ship. and you have all of these underwater longs, everybody who bought appears losing. And so what that does is it creates this big zone of overhead supply, potential resistance. The logic is that future rallies into 235, 240 are suspect because all these losers stuck on the island want to sell to get the heck out. Okay. So in short, I think future rallies are suspect. It's now back in a downtrend, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now, do I want to go buy way out of the money puts and bet Microsoft's going to get destroyed? No, I'm not going that route. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sell an out of the money bear call spread here, Greg. I'm going to sell a 260 call. I'm going to buy a 265 call for February monthly. You can get 55 cents for that. So you can get a nice little 10% return if you're willing to bet Microsoft's not going to break above 260 in light of today's breakdown. Now, there is an earnings announcement before now and February expiration. If you think they're going to knock the cover off the ball and have a monster good report, I'd probably pass on the trade. There is a chance it drops quick enough where you make a good enough chunk here, you can take it and run. But I just like the idea of when you see a completed island reversal like this, like a multi-month island reversal, making a bet that says that island reversal is not going to completely reverse in the next month, that there's going to be consequences to what just happened. It's going to be reticent to get back above and not only go back to the island, Greg, but to completely go to the other side of the island. I just think the odds are low. I also like that the declining 200-day moving average is there. So if I had to sell a bear call on a big cap tech stock, Microsoft would be one of my favorites. Hence the idea. I will structure it just in case somebody needs that. But Feb monthly, 17th of Feb, selling the 260, which has a 14 delta, buying the 265, getting 55 cents. What do you say, Greg?
Well, a couple of things. I just learned what an island reversal was because I thought it was something very different. I thought it was when I was trading on the beach and instead of having a Corona, I had a Modella. That's what I thought was an island reversal, but
common mistake, my friend.
Apparently it's something completely different. So no, this thing's just gross. Microsoft's been gross for a while. Yeah, that was a solid level of support that couldn't hold. There's no way you're trading this bullish, right? There's just no earthly reason to do that. I like the bearish tinge on this. The only thing, can you go to the intraday chart, say the 30-minute chart or something?
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that half of that candle.
Let me clean it up. One sec.
Okay, so it gapped down and it really didn't do much. The only thing that I was looking at there was half of that candle, half of that big down candle today, they gave it back. If you go back to the daily again. Yeah, there's just that
wick, the bounce, the
wick bounce there. Yeah. So with that hammer there, of course, it is still red, but it would have, like, if that were at the bottom, that would have been absolutely fantastic. But the fair part of that is if that were at the bottom of that wick, you wouldn't have got the 55 cents for the 260 anyway. Precisely. So everything worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. So yeah, Microsoft's gross, short the heck out of it. No problem here.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I didn't really quibble over a trigger here, but obviously if it gaps up tomorrow, you can wait for it to roll over, break intraday support and stuff. I don't mind that. We can quibble over the exact trigger, but yeah, we're on the same page there. So, Greg, thanks for the commentary, dude.
Cheers.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. Round 3. Throw it up, Tan. Let's see. Listen, one of us is going to be happy in 5 minutes. The others just going to be depressed, Greg.
Neither of us are going to be depressed because the hockey game's tied at 2-2 between the Americans and the Canadians right now. So that's something to be excited about.
You know what, Greg? I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay.
I know, but that's because you're going to play soccer later.
That is right. Greg is right. I got a playoff game tonight. So anybody that has the opportunity, Tackle 25 launch party, that list has been absolutely gangbuster killer for years. Matt and the lads have put together a new list. I would highly suggest going over there and checking it out. It's going to be a blast. It always is.
That thing has just been outperforming anything I can think of. And as a fundamental investor guy, I'm super excited about that list every year. It's just, I'm the lucky guy that typically gets to do those mastermind groups. So I love going through those lists. There's so many opportunities in there. You got good quality stocks, you got swing trades, you got position trades available out of there. I just absolutely love that Tackle 25 list. It's one of the best things we have about our community. So definitely head on over to the lunch party if you can make it.
Well said, Greg. Well said. I echo everything that just came out of your mouth. Oh, Greg, it's 48%, 52%. Oh my gosh, it's down to the last couple of votes. Guys, I feel like I'm Ryan Seacrest on American Idol where they put up the thing and then they take it down. Oh, you could sway this, guys. Just a few votes one way or the other. I mean, let's see what you got.
See, democracy works.
It does.
Just not in North America, but it works here. It works here in YouTube.
That's right. That's right. I don't know that I have much else, Greg. Listen, am I going to get an upside breakout out of this consolidation or downside breakout on the S&P, Greg?
So that's a great question, man. I honestly am hesitant to even hazard a guess. We're just so neutral right now. We've got a little uptick in volume the last couple of days, but it really is not back to, what we're used to seeing. I don't know that we get that answer even this week. I think maybe next week we'll get that answer. I would just watch the skies and the ground, and whichever one breaks first, there's your
answer.
Yeah, I don't mind leaning one way or the other, but I don't like to predict short-term movements because the markets themselves are manic in the short term and somewhat logical in the long term. So short term here, there's a lot of factors. Obviously, the Fed minutes read today. I thought today might have some fireworks today. There really wasn't anything today. We have a jobs number, I think on Friday, I think it is. That could be a catalyst for change as well. Just have to see how it all plays out.
Well, I for one will be glad once we depart this dopey range. So bring on the resolution, I say. Greg, you know what? I just freaking lucked out. I just did. Okay, maybe one vote different, maybe two. But Microsoft took it, dude. Microsoft took it.
Congratulations. See, this is what I get. I love the wild card round, but sometimes it's a little too wild for the folks out there. So,
you know what? I liked it though. Little broken wing fly at the money. I liked it. You already gave the pitch for Tackle 25 launch party, but that does start here in 45 minutes. Matt will probably launch that meeting room here in about 10 minutes. So go join the party, pro members, and jump on Discord if you need the link. And we will see you next week for the next Trade Masters.
And for anybody who's not a pro member or in our YouTube audience here, head on over to tackletrading.com, 15-day free trial. Come check out the community, check out the coaches, check out all the stuff we do. I will actually be on the Cashflow Club tomorrow night. So if you are a pro member, or if you're just signing up, slide on in there and hang out with us tomorrow night. We're going to do all sorts of cool stuff in Cashflow Club as well.
There you go, Greg. Well said. Okay. Good night, everyone. Thanks for hanging. See you, Greg.
Congratulations. See you later.
Thank you, sir. Yep. Bye-bye.